Hey everyone, it's Jamie from BestNerdLife, and welcome to another episode of Nerdy Thrifts, a video series where I go around my local and not so local charity shops to try and find some nerdy bargains. In this episode, we've got a good selection of stuff for you, including a teeny tiny TV, as well as some N-Gage-ing games. Yes, that is a pun, and you'll see what I mean later on. So without further ado, let's get going. Alright, let's start off with some books. I've been really lucky recently getting books from charity shops, and this is just another example. Beyond the Deep Woods, The Edge Chronicles. Yep, this is a book from my childhood. I adored it, and I'm really happy to find it. As well as Storm Chaser, the second in the saga. Yeah, I really am happy to get that as well. Moving on to a glass cabinet in another charity shop. And The Amazing Spider-Man 2 for the Xbox 360. This is a fairly rare, fairly expensive game, but it didn't have the manual inside, so I decided to leave it. But it's really cool seeing this stuff here, and you can just see me wearing a Pickle Rick face mask. Now this next thing is a staple of British culture, whether you like it or not. I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, hosted by Ant and Dec. DVD game, I've never seen it before. I didn't get it because I'm not a huge fan of I'm a Celebrity. It's gotten pretty old, so yeah, I left it. Next up is a fairly generic gaming keyboard by TechNet, I believe. The one thing I did like about this is the coloured keys for the WASD and the direction keys. They were pretty cool. I like keyboards that have that particular thing, but overall just a really generic keyboard. Now this charity shop was very much picked over. As you can see, just some the FIFA games there. Like, no one ever wants FIFA games. They will just litter the shelves forever. And below that there was a Wii that looked fairly intact with a Wii board. Yeah, I mean, I've already got one, and these things are like a dime a dozen, so I decided to leave it. This next thing is really, really cool. I found a mini portable TV. I've wanted one of these for so long. It was a nice little black and white thing. Yeah, definitely getting this. It cost me like £5. Totally getting this and taking it home. And I did, and started playing games on it. And I have some footage to show you later on in the video. But sadly, this thing did not have a happy ending. And I'll talk about that later on in the video as well. Every so often I find things that I really don't expect to find, and this is one of those cases. This thing is an Optica X grip. It's like a kind of camera stabilizing type thing. Yeah, I mean, they wanted £3 for it. I'm absolutely getting it to expand my camera equipment. Moving on now, and yeah, you can see that X grip in the background there. I found this Guitar Hero Live for the Xbox 360. I was tempted to get it because I used to love Guitar Hero on the PlayStation 2, but I just don't know if the live service is kind of still around, so in the end I decided to leave it. Looking at the puzzles and board game section, and I managed to find a couple of games. In this case, a PlayStation 4 version of Rugby 15, not interested in that. But next to it was a sealed copy of Fallout 4. Man, I adored that game, and I was so excited when they first announced it. I did get the big collector's edition with the whole like Pip-Boy thing. Yeah, can't believe it. Moving on to a big charity shop here, and as you can see they've got tons of boxes full of stuff. And I found a gaming computer shelf for £30. Now I have found gaming cases before, and generally they seem to be okay. But this one right here was just a little too big and heavy for my liking, so I left it. Still in the same charity shop and past the musical instruments, I found a couple of keyboards. This one's still boxed for £15, didn't really interest me, but this was a really interesting one with like circular keys. I've always kind of wanted to get one, but not for the price they wanted. So again, I left it. So this next one isn't technically a charity shop, but I just wanted to show this off. This is a Super Famicom along with some cartridges. You just don't really see that on the UK High Street that much. So yeah, just thought it was interesting, to be honest. Moving on to a actual charity shop, and I found a bunch of games in the glass case, as you can see, including a boxed, sealed copy, it seems, copy of Luther Season 1 to 5, as well as some PSP games, and just stuff that I just wasn't really interested in getting at the time. Moving on, and I found a PlayStation 2 in the glass cabinet there for £30. It had a light gun with it and pretty much all the cables. I was tempted to get it just for the light gun because I haven't seen one of those before, but in the end I just decided that it wasn't really worth it, so I left it. Now, sorry for the quality on this next one because I was actually filming on my phone, and I found a bunch of Wii games. Didn't actually get them out because obviously you can see, there's quite a few behind there. I just really didn't have time because I was on a lunch break, but for those prices I wasn't really interested anyway. Okay, so the last section of this video is actually filmed in DevCon, which is a Comic-Con in Plymouth, and I did film a lot of footage, but I didn't really have enough to actually do a full video, so I just kind of tacked it onto this one because it is still technically thrifting, it's just not in a charity shop. And as you can see here, found a lot of really interesting stuff like Doom, for example, Alien Trilogy, lots of stuff, really cool. Die Hard Trilogy, would have got that, except it was in the kind of that EA case, whatever it is. I'm just not interested in that. Lundra for £20, I've got the second one. As you can see, oh yeah, that's my girlfriend showing me Duke. Medieval, yeah, a real difficult game. Resident Evil 2, which I've got already, I believe. Yeah, this place was absolutely packed full of really awesome things, and this is just one table, just this thing was crazy. Also N-Gage as well, Legends of Legalia, which I've never heard of, but yeah, this person really knew the price of these things, so as you can tell he was pricing them accordingly. But yeah, moving on to the cartridges, I was really tempted with a lot of these things, including something that is coming up eventually, I believe. But yeah, Hot Wheels, that's pretty cool. Yeah, Banjo-Tooie with no price. I'm sure that's very expensive. I didn't even bother asking, although I probably should, to be honest, because maybe he didn't know the price of that. Duke Nukem, as you can see, Castlevania, bunch of stuff. Turok 3, I didn't know that existed. I think Gex, yeah, Gex 64. Oh, I should have got that. Kind of regret it now. So many things. It was really, really awesome to go back. Forsaken and Hexen. I did actually get this, but I realised it's in French, so I can still play it, but I just can't read the writing unless I learn French, so maybe that is a good excuse to. Found some interesting Mega Drive stuff here. I'm not a big fan of the Mega Drive, I don't remember playing it a lot as a kid, but there's some interesting stuff in here. So Predator there, Terminator as well, Taz, yeah, Warriors of Rome, I don't know. Just these things, I just don't really have nostalgic value to me because I just haven't played it. And next up is a fairly nice collection of boxed Nintendo stuff. You got the NES, the SNES, Nintendo 64, some really cool stuff here. They were a little bit battered and all that kind of stuff, but it was nice to see such a collection. Like Super Tennis, not particularly rare, but yeah, really cool to see all this stuff. Like Bubble Bobble, I've never seen that in real life, so again, as I said, really good to see. Was that 25 pence? I don't just saw a sticker for like .25, so I don't know. And then, a box copy of Pokemon for 125 quid, of course. Now, I didn't really see a lot of cassette games, but I did find a few amongst the figures of this shop. Green Beret, Rockman, all that kind of stuff. I was tempted to buy them, but I didn't actually get the guy's attention to ask the price because he was really, really busy, which is good for him. But yeah, I just decided to leave them in the end because, to be honest, I've got enough cassette games at the moment. Alright, now this next table is the last table, and it has a bunch of really interesting stuff, like an NTSC version of Metal Slug, some boxed Atari things. Yeah, this place was really, really awesome. Stuff like South Park, Space Invaders, some Japanese stuff, go into Time Crisis here, which I loved as a kid, Sheepdog and Wolf, which I believe I have played. Again, some more Japanese stuff. You got PC Engine. You got, yes, some N-Gage games, and I did actually get a few of these because, you know, previously when I went to the Doncaster gaming market, I saw some there and they were just a little bit too expensive for my taste, but these were about, you know, 10 to 12 pounds, so I definitely picked a few up. And some were, I think, Australian, but yeah, I picked a few up and I'll show them in the end of this video. Some 3DO games. This place was really, really awesome. I didn't expect to find such a good selection. Yeah, man, I was really, really pouring through this for quite some time. Doom for the 3DO, I believe. Yeah, like, just some really interesting stuff here. I could not believe it. Don't know what that is, but yeah, just pulling stuff out. Just really, really interesting to find. Moving on here, and some loose Game Gear stuff. Yeah, just like a really random bunch of stuff. Shadow Man, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, this place was really interesting, but as I said before, just not enough to actually, you know, have its own video. So I stuck it on the end of this one. And here is the haul for this particular video. Not an absolutely massive one, but some interesting stuff in it. Got those the Edge Chronicles books. We also got Hexen that is French for the Nintendo 64. A couple of N-Gage games, which yeah, I don't have an N-Gage, but maybe in the future. I've got a collection started anyway, and that X-Grip. But what about that little tiny TV? Well, let's talk about that. As you can see here, this is me playing Scars on the Nintendo 64. And it seemed to be working fine. However, the more that I played it and the longer that I played it, the actual quality of the picture just kept getting worse and worse until it was just like a wobbly mess. And in the end, it just kind of packed in. I don't really know why. I assume it's just because of the age and the aging like components inside it. But in the end, I just decided to return it to the charity shop, get my money back, because clearly they hadn't really like tested it. They might have turned it on, all that kind of stuff, but they didn't test it for any amount of time, which is fair enough. But yeah, just not what I'm wanting at the moment, which is really sad because I was so excited to get this. But in any case, if you enjoyed this video, then by all means like, comment, subscribe, do all that social media goodness. I do videos like this pretty much every single week. So yeah, if you want to be part of it, then like I said, subscribe and let me know if you enjoyed this video. And as always, keep living that best nerd life.